Ow! Mother! I've got narrow slots and thick cards. I don't know what happened there. Alright. Boom! Alright, welcome back to another episode. We are really going to get into the weeds in this one. This episode is even longer than the last, and a lot of things happen. We're at a stage that what we have got some voltages coming through the machine, and it would seem to correspond with the voltages described in the service manual. Great! So the next logical stage is to take the cards that I knew work in my MFX CMI hybrid machine and put them inside this machine and switch it on. Not as simple as that, of course. Let's just pretend for argument's sake that everything will go splendidly. The next stage would be to get the machine actually running. We need to get the proper CMI-41 card and get a hard drive running and attempt to properly boot. And if it manages to somehow magically boot, we'd need to install a channel controller along with a ribbon cable connection to the analog motherboard and some memory. That's all still got to be done. And there's lots of knowns and unknowns after that. I'm sure there are cables and connections that I'm unaware of yet. Okay, let's install the cards. I'll happily admit that I'm kind of rushing along here. It feels like a mirage, like I'm seeing some kind of finish line close by, but in reality, I'm not. I'm not even close. That's all the cards from the MFX. So I want to take one of these and mount it on the back of this, and I've got to drill open a hole for this, like this. So this only takes up one little minute space. But there's still a lot to figure out. I've kind of started putting cards in here just to see how they fit and if they fit, but I don't want to do any of that until I have I measure the power supplies and make sure everything's good there. It's going to be a while before I can actually switch this thing on, but we're getting there. I've got repair work for these guys to do anyway. I just want to see what it would actually kind of look like in its potential finished stage. And I know it's like you're cleaning the headlight of a car that you're restoring, and you've still got a body and a engine to put in, but you're still concentrating on this stupid little part. I've gotten to a kind of a stage that I've got the power supply of this working. A couple of the fans are still broken, but that's fine. I've got the power supply here kind of working, and I'm now kind of looking at the various configurations of how this is going to work. Now, this was an MFX. Come on. This was an MFX unit, and I'm trying to figure out if, by making it fully CMI, if there's some stuff that I have to kind of let by the wayside. One of the things I hope works, and it's because of this combination cable where these two things join together, it really shows that it feels like this wants to work, but maybe only when it's in MFX mode. So, if this 3-layer card isn't supposed to work, what is supposed to work? How did this machine work before? How did this machine originally work if the 3-layer card isn't supposed to work? Now, if this isn't the case and this doesn't belong there, I would need to get, that would need to go here, bonk, and then I need to get a SIMTI card for metronome and clicking and all that stuff. That would need to go here. And then the MFX card, or the connector, I think goes inside here by those things, but I'm not exactly sure. I took a bunch of the channel cards and kind of visually inspected them and cleaned them up and chose the one that looked like good candidates to be used. So it might look like I'm pushing the cards all the way in and kind of getting ahead of myself, but I'm not. I'm just testing the area, you know, just a little bit. So, take the output of this guy, take this guy, and I guess we would plug it into here. And then from there we'd plug it in to see if we get anything out. All of these have to be not in. That's what's very important for this to work. Is we've got to take one step at a time. This guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, all of these, and this. I've also got to figure out if I've got enough cards to populate the machine. Of course, I could have written this down on a bit of paper, but it wouldn't have been as much fun as actually taking the cards and putting them in there and making it look like a CMI. It's like putting the wheels on a car, but you don't have any nuts and bolts. So it's just sitting there, looking like a car, but not actually being a car. I know, it's dumb, but hey. Now I'm all, I'm a grown-up. I'm all disciplined and calm. Boof. It's a tempting visual image to see all the cards in there, and then, you go, hey, it's now a CMI. But I know it's not. I can't power up like this. But yeah, I was quite excited. Let's just say that. You feel adventurous? Yes, we do. All right, we're doing it. Literally a minute ago, I said it'll be a while before I power this thing up. Who's stopping? Who's in control here? Who's the grown-up? CMI-42. Are you ready to be installed? Come on. Nope. I guess not. CMI-41, are you going in? Jesus. Okay, none of these cards want to go in. Man! I can't do it. The amount of force I needed should have been assigned to me. I should have known. This is too much. I should have read the room. I should have read the CMI and known this is wrong. I shouldn't be needing to push so hard. Maybe slow down. Maybe wait a little minute. Maybe just be a little bit less impulsive. Now I've passed the threshold. But ow! Mother! Nope. Steve tells me that the ones at the edges are more difficult. More difficult. More difficult than impossible. Good Lord. I need a card shover. So, this is an MFX CMI cage, and it seems that the older cards are thinner and the newer cards are thicker. So, I've got narrow slots and thick cards. Duh. What? Okay, so. Alright, let's do this. What? Okay. Right, well, it says boot ROM, Fairlight 1984. So we get something, but it isn't getting far. That's as far as it gets. Now, at this point, it's not getting that far. The screen should have a little animated, I'm looking for something to boot from, spinning little wheel, but we're not getting that. It's solid, it's not moving. So now I actually need to remove the cards and try to figure out what's stopping it from booting. So the card that wouldn't come out is the boot card, it's the SCSI card, and it would not come out. I could not get it out. So it felt like it was actually like epoxy resin into place, like it was now part of the backboard. It was bending as I was trying to pull it out. So my camera powered off, and it sadly didn't see me attempting to remove the cards, but suffice to say is this next bit is called the bad thing. Ah, crap! Okay, it's Sunday morning. I'm just up. I've not had my coffee yet, and I've looked like I've just been pulled through a hedge backwards, but I needed to start a little bit early today. Why? Well, last night was going really well. I got all the cards in the machine, and I even powered it up and got the boot screen. But then it didn't get any further than that, so I thought, well, let's pull out a few cards and see what's causing it from going through the whole boot screen. But then I couldn't get the cards out, and that led to this. I had to completely dismantle the entire machine to get the cards out. So this is a bit of a setback. So I'm gonna have to figure out what it is and why. I've been told by Steve that some cards are really tough to get out. Some systems are different from others, but these edge connectors just seem way more tight, like 10 times more tight. Like I was breaking the tabs off getting them out, and even after I took the cards out, took everything out, and I could literally physically pull the cards out using the pins that are poking through the board onto my flesh to pull it out. That was still really, really tight. So I'm just gonna have to figure it out. All right. So although all of this feels really kind of bad, like it doesn't feel or look like a Fairlight anymore, we're actually in a place where it needed to happen or something. I don't know, but maybe I'm trying to make myself feel better about it, because it started off with something that looked like a Fairlight and looked like something that could work, and now it's literally parts of aluminium just sitting there. I almost said aluminum. So I've taken the power supply and moved it to the back, and I'm now having a much more kind of methodical, slower paced and kind of strategic method of doing things one by one. You know, like I should have done in the first place. All right, now that it's apart, it's still really difficult to get the cards in and out. It's basically less impossible than it was last night. Now, let's power it on. Right. Okay, I'm getting the boot ROM version 18 on the screen. That's about it. All right, we're where we are last night. Okay, so it powers on and it gets to this screen here. Now if you zoom in, you can see it's looking for something. And I thought maybe it's looking for a boot card, because it usually comes up with a fuller description on the screen. However, I'm realizing that this CMI-41 that wasn't in the original MFX, that one is there with the waveform supervisor beside it. So I'm going to remove the 32 and the 41 and then we'll see if that helps. But at least it's alive, kinda. Look at that. Look at that little face down there doing its little thing. Now we're actually in a better place than last night, because last night it was booting and then the little cursor was stopping, which showing it was crashed. So today we have a little spinning, happy little jolly cursor. He's just spinning with just delight. He's eager like a little puppy. And you know, I'm not getting the usual boot screen, but it's wanting to boot, which is a fantastic thing. It was super tight, Jesus. It's flexing the whole system just to get this board out. Come on. There we go. I've got a little bit of purchase at the bottom there. I'm just going to slowly ease it up. Okay, what? Out you come. That is tough. This doesn't have resistors. Damn it. Can it boot from this one? It needs both in, that's right. I'm gonna try. It doesn't need to boot, it just needs to see the thing, so the terminator shouldn't matter. Right, let's just try this. Let's just try with that one on its own. Alright? I'm gonna get myself an extension cable so I don't have to hold this thing each time. It's ridiculous. Nothing yet. Alright. The terminators are on this one. Maybe something scuzzy making things weird. Who knows? This board actually went in with what I would say is the correct amount of force. It was a lot easier. Here goes. There are lights. Oh yes! Yes! There we go! There we go! Sync hardware, channel cards, no, it's booting! Ha! No, of course it's not actually booting, it's just trying to boot. You know, there's no drives attached, it can't do anything. But it's trying to boot, that's great. Alright, good. That is great. Oh no. Did I just blow a fuse? I don't know what happened there, but something happened to the power supply of the Fairlight right then. Nothing's touching. Damn it. So, I'm going to have a look on the inside one next, but I replaced the 5 amp fuses with 3 amp fuses, and I think on startup it pulls a ton of current. And now that I've actually got cards in there, it's pulling it a little bit more than before. So, it's okay. It's one of these things. I have found a 10 amp fuse. But with my luck, no. I'm gonna wait, I'm gonna get some 5 amp fuses. It was 3 amps, it was just pushing it. I don't want to put a 10 amp in there. Okay, so I'm hoping it's a fuse issue. I went and got some fuses. Hopefully I got the right size. I didn't want to go with 10 amp, I got 5 amps. Alright, but I've not got the slow blow kind. I only had 7 amps slow blow, so I didn't want to risk it, I want to get 5 amps. And let's see if this thing switches on. Okay, it does this, it does that, boom! Now, it's looking, at this point here, the little thing's spinning, it's looking for a drive, right? So, that's a great sign. How am I going to boot it? Oh, well see, here's this. I need to put this drive in a external, but as it happens, I luckily have a Fairlight tape drive in an enclosure. Should I jump ahead and try it? I think we should. Now, something else that Steve told me today was that it's booting with the Turbo SCSI card or the CMI-41 card that's too new. And what I need to do is take the ROM out of this and put it into that one and boot it on the card that has CMI support. Light comes on, fan comes on. Fan is still quiet. Now, me booting with this drive, which is the MFX drive, what it's basically going to hopefully do is it won't boot successfully because it's got none of the MFX cards in there, right? But what it should allow us to do is for it to at least try and boot and get into something. And what that will do for me is that would allow me to know that the cage is working. Oh, now I need cables and connectors. Can I have more SCSI connectors? You can go down there, you can go out there, you can be fed through the front. I'm just going to make an assumption and say everything's going to be fine. Nothing looked wrong with this. Okay, now start up the drive. So far so good. Start with the CMI. Everything good? Yeah. Comes on. And let's see what happens. Hit spacebar for command menu. Oh, I think it had that before. Booted from Turbo SCSI port. Yes! Okay, let's see how far it gets. Okay, hopefully you can see this. Now make sure you do. Zooming. It sees the drive. Now it's going to complain probably because it doesn't have a whole bunch of stuff. Like all the DCC cards. This is, remembering, this is booting into MFX mode. So far so good. Well, you know, I really don't know what to expect. I don't even have a keyboard to plug into this to talk to it, to type anything. So it's funny, this is taking an awful long time on this part here. I don't think it usually spends that amount of time there, so it may have stopped, and that's okay. So I guess what I've got to do next is get to the same stage, but with the correct CMI 40 41 board, which is this guy here, which has the CMI control compatibility on. And I guess I'll be taking out this ROM here and popping it on that board to see if I can get to this stage with this board. Okay, so welcome back to the madness. I got to the stage where the machine can boot and it gets to a certain part and then stops. Now, what I wanted to do is see if I could get the same boot part with a different CMI-41 card. But this one doesn't have CMI capability, but it does allow the machine to boot, and it's got the newer ROM on it. Now I've put that ROM over there, and when you see that, it comes up with all the list of it checking what's on the screen. What I'm wanting to do is see if I can get it to a stage where it boots. It just might boot differently because it's not got that particular ROM, but if it can boot from this or any other of the CMI-41 cards. I think this card, or this ROM here, seems to want the Turbo SCSI card to be present. So this is all the stuff I'm trying to figure out. I don't know. Yeah, other people will know, but I'm here fixing this myself. So, right. I'm going to boot from Turbo SCSI first to see what happens, and then I'll change and boot from the waveform supervisor. So now it's just saying booted from SCSI port, which is great. So the ROM is older, it doesn't come up with a big list of stuff, and it's just booting. Great. Alright, so I need this to eventually work on a board that isn't this board. So now I'm going to try it the other way around. I'm now going to boot from the waveform supervisor. Fairlight OS version 6.49 FKW. Alright. Oh, wait a minute. No. So again, it's doing the same thing. Next question. Can I take out the Turbo SCSI card? Like, does it need the Turbo SCSI card with that older ROM, or in something in that newer board, even with the older ROM? Now it's just a little spinning thing. So it's something to do with the board that's requiring the Turbo SCSI card to be there. So now what I need to really do then is find one of these CMI-41 boards, which there's a few of them in different states of repair, and then like if you look at this one here, some of them are incomplete. I don't know if you can see this or not, but it is very, very corroded at the end here. This one needs a lot of love to clean up. Hey, actually this is way worse than, look at it. Some of the other ones are in better shape. So I'm gonna clean this card up. I'm just gonna go through all the cards to see, you know, I've got to try all of them because I don't know what component, I don't have any test gear. So I'm just gonna have to do a visual cleanup on what I can get done and go from there. I guess I should buy some terminating resistors. Whoa, came up with something else. Bag. What does bag mean? Bag? That's new. So it's coming up with something different. There's no error light, but it's coming up with on the command line, bag. This card is doing something different than the others. So at least what I want to do now is I'm going to take the boot ROM, or the ROM, kind of like the BIOS ROM, and put it into this card. See what happens. So this went on for a while, and trying different combinations, cleaning up different boards, and then finding what looked like a good board and trying different ROMs and trying that different ways, but no success. Wait. I think it's time we have a better perspective on this. Let's see. The voltages are good, the cards are behaving. It powers on and we know that you can't run with 3 amp fuses. That's all good. We have our MFX hard drive connected, and now all we need is to find a good CMI-41 and ROM combo that wants to boot. Alright, that's not so bad. Okay, it's thinking. It's booting! It's booting! Man, I wish is the camera seeing that? What's the camera looking at? Over there. Yes! It's booting! It's booting on a 41 with the ROM, with the old ROM. With the old ROM, yeah, it's the old ROM. You don't get all the descriptions, but it is booting. So this card is working. Fantastic. It's a CMI card. It's a CMI-41 card with one of the ROMs that I put in. Now, sadly, the red light has gone on here, so it's gone as far as it can go. But now we have at least a CMI-41 card that is happy to work. It is interesting that I can't use the nice new non-CMI 41 card because that gives me all the boot things. Maybe I put that one in just to, yeah, that's what I should do. I should put that one in just to see the cards that are being seen, and then I can pop this one back in to boot properly. Alright, boom. I am booting from the MFX CMI, and it's getting so far because it's expecting to see DCC cards and things like that, which I'm sure is stopping it from booting. I've got one of these SCSI to SD cards, but I'm thinking I need to download it and the whole, you know, the image of the boot thing and everything and get that onto this card and blah, blah, blah. Or I can take it from a known source, which is the drive that's in the Fairlight that Steve has loaned me. So I'm going to try booting with this and see if it changes what happens. Alright? Fun and games. Is the SCSI to SD card, which is already a known working Fairlight build, and coupled through this, booting off of this, I've added a CMI-32 and 1 channel card just to see if anything changes. Alright? Light on there showing that it's got power. Booted from Waveform Supervisor. Alright, okay. It's seeing it's Rev 9 partition. It's seeing all the 4 partitions, or all the partitions that are on there. I need a keyboard! I don't have a keyboard, I don't have an RS-232. Balls! Okay. The other one, the hard drive, which is the big physical hard drive that's in there, it boots up straight away. This one I need to type in a command. Alright, I need to get RS-232 to this from one of these guys. Why isn't it marked RS-232? Wonderful, it's booting with a CMI drive to a certain point. Now we have a new thing to add to the list. Getting a keyboard or RS-232 into this machine. So I can type the command CMI. That will then start booting the CMI software and we'll see how far it gets in the boot process. Alright, that's it for this episode. Good stuff, good progress, huh? Okay, here's the next episode where things may or may not get better, who knows? Suspense. Alright, cheers. Single letters. This is fantastic. This is fantastic. See? Wow, 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 wow. Look! Shit. Alright, no one tell Steve.